It's PGA week here on Gaming Golf. We can't coming off a big tournament where a lot of big names were competing. Now we're going for a huge golf course at Southern Hills with the second major of the year. Tune in to see who Scott and Jeff think are going to win. Hey everybody, welcome to Gaming Golf. It's PGA week, and we're super pumped up for this tournament. It's a big week. Second major of the year, the PGA Championship at Southern Hills in Tulsa. I made a Rocky like a hurricane joke. It's Tulsa, the Golden Hurricanes, and you tie it all in together there. I'm excited. So let's go, guys. How are we doing?
Fired up. It's a major championship week. It's a major week for golf betting, and we got a fun course with a little history, but also, of course, it's been redone so much that you can kind of probably throw out most of that history. But I think it's a great venue for this, and it opens up a lot of betting possibilities and all the storylines that always converge on these major championships. Golf is filled with them, so I think it's gonna be a fun week. I'm ready.
Yeah, I'm fired up too. It feels a little bit more like a U.S. Open with the way the course is. Every once in a while, you get to PGAs, you're like, I don't know how great this is going to be, but I'm really looking forward to this one. It seems like the course is going to be really tough, which is going to be great for the great players. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about here. A lot of guys in the 6s and 7s that are playable. It's a really fun week.
It's a long course.
Yeah,
2 par 5s, both over 600 yards. No one's getting there in 2.
You get there in 2 if you play, though, right, Jeff?
What?
Driver 6-iron for you?
Two
driver
drinks
in a cart, and you change carts halfway through. Yeah, no.
Honestly, though, how do you play a 630 par 5? Was that driver 3-wood 4-iron?
Except I'm really bad with 3-wood from the deck, so it's probably driver hybrid or something like that, or driver hybrid 5-iron or something. I don't know.
Len Hochberg posted the par 5s. I was trying to figure out what it would be. I think I go driver 4-iron, but man, it's a tough hole. Dude,
I've seen you play. You're a big hitter.
Yeah.
It's more like driver, 5-iron wedge for you.
Yeah, I don't know if I could quite that far, but man, that's a tough golf hole though. That's gonna be. I mean, and I think it helps the shorter hitters because it's just nobody's really going for that in 2. So it kind of makes it so none of those holes are eagleable.
I think I would play it drink, then driver, then reload, 3-wood off the deck, drink again. And I'm obviously on the tee thinking, how do I make a single digit? Probably is what I'm thinking on a 630-yard par 5.
Most people don't recommend drinking to get your single digit, but there you go.
So. Two drink holes is the best description I've heard of it so far.
Yeah. All right, let's get right into it. 5 guys in the 5 digits. It's a big field, not like the Masters, but there's also a lot of club pros and former champs, so it's a little tricky. Len Hochberg's article breaks that down really well, both his DK preview as well as his barometer. He ranks every single golfer in the field. So some good stuff from Len. You should check that out, rotowire.com/try, as you can see many places here. But let's jump right into it. The 5-digit guys: Scotty Scheffler, 11-4. John Rahm, 11-2, JT, 10-7, Colin Morikawa, haven't talked about him in a while, at 10-4, and Rory McIlroy at 10,000. Let's jump right off and start with Scott. Who do you like in this grouping? What are your reactions to this top tier?
I mean, it's an awesome top tier. I like everybody in it. I wouldn't argue against any of them, but I'm going to go with the guy that I think is going to win this week. I think it's time. I think I'll go with Justin Thomas at 10-7. Talked about him last week. I mean, I just think he's playing so well. It's crazy. He hasn't won since March of 2021, 9 tournaments in 2022, 6 top 10s. He was 5th last week. He's gained on approach in 13 straight events. Obviously, with this a long course, how you approach and with the small greens too. Like approach is going to be, it's always key, but it's going to be beyond key this week. I think around the greens really important this week too, because I think the greens of regulation are going to be low just based on how small the greens are, how long the approach charts are. He played really well around the green last week, and I mean, I don't know how you go wrong with any of these guys, so it's hard to pick and choose. We can talk about build later, but I'm pretty stars and scrubby this week. I'm going to really try and get 3 guys, like say 8,700 and higher, maybe a 10 and 2 nines, maybe 2 10s and an 8, that sort of thing, because I think there's a lot of people playable under 7,500. So I'm really focusing on this group. My favorite, Justin Thomas. I wouldn't argue ever against Colin Morikawa. That 4 top 8 in his last 4 majors. Rahm is weirdly overlooked this week. Everybody's talking about Scheffler and Thomas and Morikawa. I think Rahm might be a lower rostership percentage than normal, but it's an awesome group. But give me JT. I think he wins this week.
So I think one of the things that makes this a really intriguing betting week is that there's a lot more of the top players in the world are entering this week feeling good than there were at the Masters. The Masters were like, Scottie Scheffler was winning everything, and Cam Smith had won the Players, and there they were on Masters Sunday. But now, coming in this week, Rahm has been overlooked, but he's got to win. Jordan Spieth's got to win. Justin Thomas feeling better. Rory McIlroy walked off Augusta with more momentum than he's ever really felt leaving Augusta. So it's a lot tougher for Scottie Scheffler, I guess, is where I would start. Is even though he's the number 1 player in the world and he's riding this wave, it's very easy now through no fault of his own to see, this is going to be a much tougher test for him to try to keep that going, because there's just so many players playing well. So I think Scheffler deserves to be at the top of this board. I'm not playing him. I just think there's too many guys in the 8s or 9s as we went through this. I had a feeling Scott and I are going to land on some of the same names again, but I would probably off this tier go McIlroy. And it's just a momentum thing where I just love the way he came out of Augusta. I like that he was solid 5th place at Wells Fargo, and a course that he doesn't even really know well. I just think it's clicking. It's coming together for him at the right time. I could see him winning this week. But like Scott said, you could pick anybody off this tier and, probably not hurt yourself.
Can you fit 2 guys from this tier in and make it work?
Maybe, but as a PSA, I would say don't pick a club pro. Unless it's your father or like a neighbor, like very close relative or, association, I would not financially tie yourself to a club pro this week. So stay out of those for the DraftKings lineups. But there are a few guys in the 6,000s we're going to get to that I think are very legitimate top 20, even top 10 potential this week. So I think a Stars and Scrubs lineup can work.
I think you can go 2 top. I think you go 2 in the 5 digits for sure. You probably have to jump down to the 8s after that. And it's hard because there's 4 guys in the 9s that I really like as it is. But I kind of played with it. I think a Morikawa and a couple guys in the 9s, and I found out I had about 7,100 left for my final 3. There's a couple guys in the 6s I like, and suddenly you can get the guy around 8,000. I think it's really playable this week. I think two 10s and an 8, or like 1 10 and 2 in the 9s. I think it's really workable this week with how many, I think, viable options we have in the mid 6s and the low 7s.
Yeah, and going back to Jeff's PSA, go to SI, drop on down to SI Sportsbook and put a top 20 bet on your favorite one there. Don't even do it to win bet there, but and maybe you'll pull it off, but probably not even then. I like the idea of getting, fishing in these waters there, and there's a point for all of them. I think Rory needs a hypnotist to tell him it's Sunday and he's sitting in 25th place or something like that, and then maybe get that on Thursday, and maybe you'll jump on them a little bit. All right. Wisecracks aside, let's move on to the 9,000s, where we also like players. Lots of players to like. Victor Hovland also hasn't played many tournaments lately. He's at 99. Cameron Smith, 97. Jordan Spieth, 96. DJ, 95. Xander, 93. 92, we've got Hideki, 91. Patrick Cantlay. Brooks Koepka at 9,000. Jeff Ritter, you get to start this tier. What do you got for us?
So I would fade the top and bottom of this tier. I think Hovland's going to win a major sometime soon, but as I've looked at this course setup and what he does, this feels like a major that's actually going to be won around the green. And I don't think that this, as we've talked about, and anybody can just click the PGA Tour stats. Hovland is dead last on tour and scrambling somehow remains, a top 10 player in the world. So one of these majors is going to just hit every green and he's going to win it. But I think this one's got too much emphasis around the green. So I would fade Hovland this week. And then I would fade Koepka just coming off the injury. And we don't know really where he is with his game and his health. So I'd start there with fades. I love Jordan Spieth at this price. I think this feels like a major we're talking wide open fairways. That's going to help Spieth, who can, as we know, can spray it off the tee. And his whole game, and this is going to be a theme I come back to, is just guys that are just gritty and get the ball in the hole from anywhere. that is Spieth when he's peaking, and it feels like he's very, very much, close to a peak right now as we enter this week. So I actually like the group for him. It's come out just a couple hours ago that he's playing with Tiger and Rory for the first couple days. I like it.
Do you think there'd be any fans in that group?
My God. I like it for Jordan though. I mean, it's all there in front of him now to get this done. And, if he's able to pull it off and complete a career Grand Slam, it'd be a feel-good story that the game of golf, it wouldn't hurt right now with some of the other darker headlines looming in the sport. So I love Spieth, and I also like Patrick Cantlay a lot. I just think he's underpriced. I think that he's due to win a major as well. Very consistent this year. 2 of his losses are playoff losses. So I just think at that price, that's very interesting to me, and I think he belongs on the short list of top contenders. So I think he's a value at 91.
Yeah. Does Jordan Spieth get a bump because it's Texas adjacent? I don't know. Does that work at all? But I don't know. But
it'd be hot and windy, so that's those Texas conditions could pop up this week. That's for sure.
Sure. Scott, how about you? What's your take on this tier?
As tough a tier as I can remember since we've been doing the show, because I like so many guys in this range at the price. I mean, obviously you get elite players priced down a little bit in majors, but I never liked Spieth. And you look closer, and you have to. It's not only just, as Jeff said, he gets the ball in the hole and kind of grinds it around. Dude is playing. His ball striking is insane right now. He's third in the field in approach in the last 24 rounds, second in tee to green, third in ball striking. He's gained over 10 shots tee to green in the last 3 measured events. Obviously, the Masters doesn't quite have the shot tracker stuff, but first and second last 2 tournaments, like he's just playing really well. It's just usually it's like, oh, he can figure it out, and it's his Spieth. He'll get some magic going, but he's just playing really well. And it's a scary combo right now. So I think 9,600, as someone who usually doesn't play Spieth, is a really good price. And I absolutely love Hideki at 9,200. Just a great long iron player. Fits this course so well. The neck issue seems fine now. He finished third last week, gained 10.4 tee to green, 9.4 in approach. I mean, he's played 8 events so far in 2020. Top 40 in all 8 of them. Has not missed a cut. 3 top 10s. He's gained heavily in tee to green at 5 of 6. I think this course sets up perfectly for him. I will be betting him. If Thomas doesn't win, he's my next pick to win this tournament. But then you look around him. I mean, I like Jeff's thoughts with Cantlay too. I mean, he struggled so much in majors. I think I saw the stat. He has 2 top 10s in 20 majors all time, which is crazy for a guy who's that good. Bounced back nicely. He kind of struggled a little bit. Then he bounced back nicely at RBC, finished second there. Then he won the Zurich Classic with Xander after that. We'll talk about in a second. But Xander's 9,300 too. And you talk about someone, I know there's all the stuff he can't win, but shot 61 Sunday to finish 5th. We talk about the opposite with Cantlay. He's got 19 career majors. He's got 9 top 10s. Like, that's an insane set of stats. He always plays well in these events, but he's weird right now. Last 6 events, 4 top 13s, really good, and then 2 missed cuts. So really bad there. I just like all these guys. Hideki's my favorite one, but I think I'm going to mix and match. It's a week I'm going to play some multi lineups. I like getting either JT or maybe Morikawa, and then playing 2 of Xander, Hideki, Cantlay, or Spieth, and kind of start there. But if I had to pick one, it's Hideki, then Spieth. But this range is awesome.
I got one more Cantlay stat for you. I edited the piece this morning from our gambling insider on SI.com. 5 of Cantlay's 6 career wins have been on bent grass greens. Bent grass this week.
There you go.
I'm out there.
Love it.
Yeah, 9.1. I mean, we haven't had a peep about DJ at 95. Maybe for reason. But he will be. Again, yet another golden opportunity to have a lesser owned DJ. But then again, he finished 59th last week, guys. I mean, it's just
this course is so perfect for DJ playing like DJ. I just don't know if we have that. I mean, we haven't seen it in a long time. You look at his stats, and you can't find like a week he played really well since like last year. I mean, he's got some good finishes. He was 9th the players, but that was all putting. He was 8th the Tour Championship in the end of 2020, and that was all putting. Also, he lost in tee to green and approach that week. Like, I just can't find a great reason to play him except for his name is Dustin Johnson. He could turn it on any point, but I'm not playing this week with the other guys I have around here, even though the course sets up so beautifully for him.
Yeah, I hear you on that. And I there's just, like you said, there's too many good options. Yeah. That's the thing. And you had it's one of those where you start getting FOMO and you want, okay, well, I got to get a DJ lineup in there. And then next thing you know, you've outlaid like twice as much as you usually have. But so it goes.
I'm going to try hard this week not to do that. There's so many guys I like that I'm going to try and stick with a core, and I'm going to have to cut some guys I like. But I'm just not going to have room for someone that I don't love in this range.
Right. Like I'm going to have a Hideki and lineup in there. I'm definitely going to have a Spieth lineup, maybe both. But Xander's going to be like 11 billion percent rostered, and I don't want to be missing that. I mean, I feel like he's as sure as a thing as there is in the field, at least in being like in contention. I could be wrong and watch him miss the cut, but because I've been aggressively wrong this year. But I will have a lineup with him for sure.
Now it doesn't seem like that's going to hurt you. Really, these both of these top tiers are again. There's so many guys playing well now, and it's all kind of converging this week.
Exactly. All right. Before we move on to the 8,000s, where there's other options, quick note from our sponsors on the Blue Wire Network. All right, and we're back. Thanks to the Blue Wire Network for hosting our podcast. 8,000s. Here we go. Will Zalatoris, 89. Sam Burns, 88. Shane Lowry, 87. Daniel Berger, 86. Joaquin Niemann, 85. Sungjae Im, 84. Bryson, 83. Tiger, 82. Max Homa, 81. Tyrrell Hatton, 81. Corey Connors and Louis at 8,000s. Scott, you're first, and I'm going to predict two names from you. Not just one.
Do it.
Shane Lowry.
Yep.
And Max Homa.
Should I just quit the pod? You can take over for me.
Back and over to me.
And now to our regular sponsored.
It's a weird range, right? Because we've got Bryson in there who may or may not play. He says he's going to test his wrist. I think it's today. Mm-hmm. We've got Tiger in there who I'd love to play, but I think he's overpriced. Like I'd love to have Tiger in my lineup, but I wish he was in the 7s to be a little more fun. Mm-hmm. I love Shane Lowry this week. 8,700. I'm getting too predictable, but I like him in tough conditions. I like him on tough courses. Going to be. I mean, look at his last 5 events: 3rd, 12th, 13th, 2nd. Like at 8,700, he does anything close to that, and he's a huge play this week. He's gained heavily on tee to green and approach in the last 4. At RBC, his last tracked event, he gained 8.4 shots in approach. I think he sets up perfectly. He's playing really well right now. I love Lowry at 8,700. I talked before. I'm going to have like 3 guys over 8,500. He was kind of my bottom tracker on that, where I think you go a 10 and a 9 in him, or 2 10s in him, and you can get really interesting there. Homa's a tough one because he has not played well in majors in his career. His last 5 majors, 3 missed cuts, a 40th and a 48th. So it's kind of a step that you've got to assume that Max Homa is a different player than he was last year when he's played. I mean, he's been so good recently. In his last 6 events, he was 48th in the Masters. We talked about 5 top 20s the other 6 events. So I think that 8,100, I think he's very playable. I don't love him quite as much as I do most weeks, but I mean, tee to green are insane right now. He's gained significantly 5 straight tournaments. Gained really one approach in 3 straight. I think he's playing really well right now. We need to see it at a big course, a big major like this. He won Riviera last year, I think. So, I mean, he's shown it that he can play in these long courses. We need to see it in major. 8,100, I think I'll be playing him, but not the all-in that I usually am with Homa, but definitely going to be playing him.
So I think the course profile, the wide fairways, it's long. I mean, you got to be long enough to keep up, but I think it's a second shot tournament. And when you start thinking about that, then I hear the Will Zalatoris music start to play, where the greens are relatively small, and you just need that ball striker. And who on the PGA Tour is the world's leader in a strokes gained approach? It is our friend Will Z. The claw grip, shaky, whatever the putting. I don't know what the putting stroke is. I don't want to think about the putting stroke, but I think this is a golden setup for him. And I don't know if I'm all the way there for the one and done, but I think he's going to be a factor this week, because I just think this is like a honey track setup for him.
I agree with honey trap for a second.
No, this is a setup for this is his type of setup. I like the Lowry pick. I'm not surprised he made it, but he is playing the best golf of his life, and he's already got a major win. This is a great setup for Lowry as well. And then maybe one more down the list. I just think, again, ball striking, friend of the podcast, Corey Connors, it seems to be coming back into focus overall. I'm intrigued at 8,000, but for me, it's Will Z off this tier.
Yeah. I want to speculate that roster percentage on Will Z is going to be low because he missed the cut last week. It's not like he blew up. He went 71-69. It was just a birdie fest, and he didn't make enough putts, basically, is the way I read that.
Right.
Can he get the ball up and down when he does miss the greens? Is kind of I think the big thing for Will Z.
For sure.
I mean, he sets up so well. He's lost strokes around the green in 3 straight. He's lost strokes putting in 7 straight.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a little muted, like Jeff said, with the smaller greens. He's not going to have the longer putts. I just worry a little bit on shots that he's 8-10 yards off the green. If he can get up and down like the rest of these guys in the price range can. And he's great in majors too. I think he's been 4 top 10s and the other like a withdrawal. So you kind of throw that one out. He's been great. He's been great in the spotlight too.
Yeah, he has. All right, let's traverse on to the 7,000s. A level so big, we usually break it in 2, but it's not as big because there's so many in the 6,000s. It's still pretty big. So let's do our usual where we go top half of the 7,000s, then bottom half of the 7,000s. Jeff Ritter, you have the floor. Who do you like in the top half of the 7,000s, if anyone?
One of my favorites again on the board. I think Matt Fitzpatrick. I might be reaching into Scott's pocket on this one as he's been pumping him a lot this year, but I'm coming around. Fitzpatrick is 7 of 9 starts this year, top 20 finishes. So I just kind of look at him as someone that you just throw out on big brawny golf courses, and I sort of like I had him in my head as like the Kevin Kisner playbook, where like those were the type of tracks, or okay, maybe it's the Sony Open or those type of things. But I mean, he just finished 14th at the Masters. He doesn't have a big major championship record. He doesn't have any real major championship scar tissue. But he's just someone that it's all coming together. He's top 25 in all the major strokes gained categories. Just having a very, very good, consistent year. And this is a good setup for him. Yes, you have to be long enough, but I, again, think it's a second shot course and scoring. And I think he's very interesting and very tempting, not even just at that price, but even as like a straight ticket bet. I think he's someone that could possibly break through and win this week. Also on the tier, Cam Young, we're talking about him now multiple weeks. He keeps delivering, and that price still seems low to me, to a rookie who's playing way over. I don't know if he's way over his head or if this is his head now at this point, but I'm going to have Cam Young in a few lineups as well.
I'm not living a ton in this range just because I think I'm going to live up top and kind of get under 7,500 for a lot of my guys. But Cam Young is mine for sure in here. 7,600. You look at the past 24 rounds in this field, and we're talking ball striking for this event. He's 3rd in tee to green. He's 7th in ball striking. He's 2nd off the tee. He's 4th in DraftKings points, which is exactly what we need. We're talking about here. He makes some big scores there, which is great. Did miss the cut at the Players and the Masters. I know we kind of throw the Players out based on how the event went, but obviously the Masters one, matters. There's some course similarities I've heard this week from a lot of people that between Augusta and this course, based on how they're going to have fast greens, how everything's going to roll off the front and the back. But monster tournament last time he was out at Wells Fargo, gained 15.4 shots to your green. You never hear a number that big. Gained 6.2 on approach. His last 7 events, 3 top 3s, 5 top 16s. We talked about the 2 missed cuts, but when he's played well, he's really, really played well and been up on top of the leaderboard. And this price this week, he didn't have to win. If he finishes 12th this week, 7,600, that's a really good play. So he's my favorite guy in this range. I'm tempted by Keegan as always, 7,500, playing really well lately. I'm a little worried his last event weirdly was like he had 9.8 strokes putting. So it was a little more putting and less ball striking, but Keegan's always solid. We need ball striking. The approach has been a little bit up and down recently, which puts me off him and towards Cam Young a little bit. But I think in this range, I do like Fitzpatrick. Jeff mentioned him, but Cam Young's my favorite at 7,600.
And you're gonna keep the floor and go at the next range down, the low half of the 7,000s. Is there anyone there that catches your eye?
There is. I really, really like Alex Noren this week. He's 7,000. Another good week last week at AT&T. He gained 5.6 tee to green, gained in each of the kind of main metrics we look at across the board. So just played really well all the way around. He's made 8 straight cuts, 4 of those in the top 12. So getting up the leaderboard too. He's just really cheap this week. He's gained tee to green in 8 straight weeks. You give me Noren at 7,000. Again, he's 7,000. Didn't have to win. Didn't have to finish top 10. I really like his chances to kind of just be a solid top 20 guy at 7,000. I really like that. I also think that Jason Kokrak is mildly interesting at 7,300, playing really well the last 3 weeks. Super quiet 14th place at the Masters. I didn't really remember him finishing that high until I looked at it. 35th at RBC, 17th last week at the AT&T. Byron Nelson gained really well last week. Only missed one cut all year. I think he's someone that if you're just like trying to get through, make a cut. I think the Kokrak's a nice place. Everything. He's not going to win the tournament, but make a cut. Give you an 18th to a 25th somewhere in there, and really kind of round out your lineup well.
Good picks. I don't like as much down here. I think my favorite is Russell Henley. He's not a big major championship track record. He kind of played himself into it and then out of it at the U.S. Open last year. But again, we're talking ball striking. He's an elite iron player. So I believe he's second right now in approaches on tour. So could be underpriced. Could be someone that can just, hit a bunch of greens and hang around and maybe it's a top 10. The other guy I'll mention is this is the best I've felt about Patrick Reed all year, which is not saying much because I've tried to give him away on this podcast in trades unsuccessfully. But I do think if it's ever going to happen for him this year, I think this is the type of course where, again, distance, even though it's long, it's not everything. It's really how you can just get it in the hole around the greens. And that is the one thing that he's been able to do in his career. So we'll see. But I think this is, at least I'm playing him with hope this week as opposed to dread. Those are my two off this tier.
I have no comment on Patrick Reed.
Our friend and colleague Len Hochberg wrote up his preview that he really likes at 7,000 Harold Varner. That it's one of his favorite plays.
Yeah, that's a good call too. Another guy playing best golf of his life, starting to get more comfortable in bigger events. Won in Saudi Arabia earlier this year, and he's he was in the final group with Koepka a few years ago at the PGA at Bethpage. So he's had a taste of it.
And finished a stroke back a week, 2 tournaments ago at the RBC. His 2 tournaments ago at RBC. He was a stroke back of the playoff between Cantlay and Spieth. So
yeah, that's a good pick.
Yeah, pretty good form for him as far as that goes, and cash at Zurich also. So haven't seen him since then. Finally, 6,000s. It's a chance here where we talked about this. This is perhaps a fruitful tier. Especially if you're going to go fishing above, you're going to go looking below for some cheap prices here. Guys, who do we like as cheapies this week? Jeff Ritter, you get to go first.
I got a few. I'll go fast. I think, again, I'm talking about a golf course. Just get it in the hole. That's Kevin Kisner music at 6,800. That's Kevin Na at 69. I'm going 2 guys off my team that I like this week, but those are guys that it can make putts, hang around, grind it out. I like them both as a fit for this place. I think Davis Riley is still underpriced. I don't know what he's doing down here at $6,800. But another rookie that's he's on the rise and maybe is now comfortable enough to factor in one of these big events. So I would flag him as well. And then the return of Mito Pereira, 17th at the Nelson. But I think he's someone that we've liked his statistical profile for a while. I like the fact that he won a bunch before coming up to the big tour, and maybe it's coming together for him at the right time too. So at this price, you're just looking to make a cut. I think each of those guys can possibly top 20 or even top 10.
I love this range. I think it's an important range. I think that I'm going to play probably 2 guys from here in a lot of lineups. I think I'm going to mix and match a little bit because I think that's I think who hits the right guys in here is going to end up winning this week because everybody's going to mix and match the top guys and you're going to hit there. But getting these guys right, Jeff stole one of mine, but Mito Pereira I want to talk about him for a second. You look at the last 4 weeks, 17th, 26th, 13th, and 27th. Like that's a guy in the 6,700 price range that is playing really well. I mean, those are top 30s. Then you look a little bit different. Like, let's look at some metrics. You look at the last 24 rounds in this field. He's 13th in ball strike, and that's overall, not just in the 6,000. He's 13th overall. He's 13th in tee to green. Sorry, he's 9th in ball strike. He's 9th off the tee. He's 22nd approach. I mean, this guy's playing really well right now. He had 1 miscut at the Players. Again, we throw that out. The other 6 events in the last 7 or 6 of those are all top 30s. Like. He's playing really well, not just making cuts, but like actually making some money. Last week, he gained 9 shots tee to green, 4.3 in approach. He's gained tee to green in 7 straight tournaments. He's gained an approach in 7 of 8, playing really well. I actually think he's worth a bet this week. I don't think he can probably win, but at the odds, we'll talk when we get in the betting. I'm really like at the top and then throwing some darts late. There's a lot of high prices I like, but love Pereira at 6,700. I like Aaron Wise at 6,800. I just really like the way he's playing right now. He gained nicely last week on tee to green and approach. He just putted really badly. If he made the cut, finished 51st, didn't do much on the weekend, but just putted really badly. but hit it great prior at Mexico. He's made 5 or 6 cuts. I really like that. And even going lower, you look at kind of recent form, Anirban Lahiri, 6,500. He's made 6 straight cuts. He's gained nicely. TD Green 405. He was top 15 his last 2 events, Mexico and Wells Fargo. And there's a guy that's, I don't think he can win either, but at 6,500, he makes the cut and finishes 30th. You're doing really well. And if you really wanted to save some money, we got a guy at 6,300 who is last 4 events on the DP Tour, T15, T9, T8, and T2. We're looking at Ryan Fox at 6,300. Go back 1 tournament, 5th most recent. He won he won in February on the DP Tour. So you're look at the Euro Tour. That is 5 straight events where he's been top 15. Not just like making cuts, but really making money. Hits the ball far. He's not done really well when he's come over to the U.S. and played these big events. But I think 6,300. I'm gonna have some Ryan Fox in lineups. I'm gonna have some top 20 bets in on Ryan Fox. He's just playing really, really good golf right now. Granted on the other tour, but someone that is playing really well right now. So I like him. And uber cheap. It's almost a punt play. I think he's much better than your normal punt play.
Love it, Ryan Fox.
Yeah. So out of nowhere, but I like it. And then
John,
I think Johnny Vegas 6,900 is also really playable, playing really well. So there's like 5 guys down here in the 6,000s that I think are really interesting plays. Kind of mix and match them, get 2 in each lineup. I think you're gonna hit on some of them, and it's a week that if you're playing multiple lineups, I think taking those 5 or 6 guys, kind of rotating them through and finding the right combo is going to be really key.
Neither of you mentioned Sebastian Munoz at 68. What's your thoughts on him? Played 3rd. Obviously, he had that huge day Thursday. Didn't fit, still was 10 under the rest of the tournament after that, but obviously that wasn't good enough to win.
Him and Charles were my 2 guys in the 6,000s that I noted. I didn't bold them, so I didn't talk about him. But I worry a little about Munoz in major history. He was 1 for 4 and made cuts at majors last year, but he's playing really well. He's made 7 straight cuts, all those in the top 40. I think at 6,800, he's very playable. I just happen to like Wise and Pereira and probably Vegas a little bit more. But I got no problem if you want to play Munoz. He's playing good golf right now.
All right. Very good. Let's skip on over to sisportsbook.com and take a look at a couple of the betting odds that are of interest to us. Obviously this is a big week for that. Let's find ourselves some winners. Jeff, what do you like here?
Well, I usually don't go under 20-1 for picks, but I'm going to take Spieth at 16-1. I just think that the planets may be aligning for him this week, so I want in. I'm also on Matt Fitzpatrick at 40-1 to win outright, absolutely. And my other outright winner, Patrick Reed at 100-1. Could be the feel-good story golf needs right now if he wins his 2nd major championship. I would be in on that. And then for some of the top 10s, I like Russell Henley 18-1 for a top 5. I think, again, I like the statistical profile and fit for the course. And Davis Riley, top 10 machine. He's 11-1 to top 10 this week. I like that too.
I wrestled with the betting card this week. It's always tough on majors because you see everybody, they want to bet everybody, but I'm going to go 3 guys kind of not at the top, but near the top, and then 3 or 4 guys way down the bottom as darts. So I think that it's a way that I can't really deal with the middle because I'm going to go 3 guys at the top. I'm going to play Justin Thomas. I think this is the week he wins. He's 14-1, a little bit lower than I normally bet, but I'm going to do it this week. So, up the dollar amount a little bit for the lower price, but I'm definitely betting that. Hideki's a slam dunk bet for me at 25-1. I think I think the he's a little mispriced. I think that he has a really good chance to win this week, playing great. And then Shane Lowry, we talked about before, not much else to say, but 30-1, I think is a good price for him to win. Then I'm going to drop way down. I like Alex Noren as a dart at 125-1. I like Mito at 150-1, and I like a 12-1 on him on a top 10. I think he's playing well enough where a top 10 is possible, and I think 12-1 is a pretty good price there. And I'm going to go Ryan Fox. We talked about him before, 250-1. Throw a couple bucks on that just for some fun if he gets it in the weekend. But I also like a plus 750 on a top 20. I think Fox has a good chance to kind of get up the board and make a top 20. 7.5-1. I like that. And for full disclosure, when the odds first came out, I bet Daniel Berger just because 75-1 seemed insane. He's down to 50-1 already. And I bet Bryson 120-1 just in case he plays. I think that's an insane price to it. So I threw a couple bucks on those kind of darts as they first came out, but I just wanted to fully disclose that it's out there. I don't know Bryson's going to play, but I thought the prices on those 2 guys were just too high to not take a stab on.
All right. Very good. Finally, let's do one and done. I think we've had some people tease their choices already. So, you know what? I'm going to let Scott, you go first on this one here.
I'm going Hideki this week. I've not used him. I think it's a really good chance for him to win. I love the course setup. I love how he's playing. I've used Justin Thomas. Otherwise, that would be my play. I think that'd be my number one. Decky's my number two. I'm doing it. I think he's in the mix on Sunday, and that's all you want.
I've used Spieth. I've used Zalatoris. So I'm down to Rory or Fitzpatrick. And I don't know.
Got to go, Rory.
Yeah, I have to.
Got to go.
I have to go. I'm going to fall into the Rory trap, and I'm going to pick him. But that's my third choice. I would go Spieth, Will Z, Rory Fitzpatrick. So I've cornered myself this week. I've boxed myself out of a couple top picks, but that's where I am. Going Rory. It's submitted.
All right, very good. I haven't submitted yet. I haven't even decided. I mean, I got Hideki available still. I have Scheffler still available. Ooh. And pod odds play might dictate that I take him, but I feel like those who haven't taken him will take him now.
Have you looked to see how many he's available in? I haven't.
I haven't. I'm going to do the research on that in our pool at least. And I'm in a bigger pool too by the season folks, szn.com. They do football survivor pools. They have a golf survivor pool too now, a golf one and done. They also have a baseball one too. They're great. I love them. The season.com. Anyhow, they don't advertise with us. I just like what they do.
Does it feel like there's going to be way too few people on Morikawa?
I was looking at that, and I could be that guy on him. So you might be the devil in my ear, Scott.
Morikawa, lowly rostered and one and done in a major. Like maybe we're all just missing it there. But yeah. I'm going Decky. I'm tempted by Morikawa, but I'm going to go Decky.
I have Rory and Spieth available too, and I never am on Spieth, but my man, I'm feeling a pull, and that's tough.
Playing great. He's playing great right now.
Yeah. So. And you know what? The last time I had a good team, last time I won this league, I had Spieth in his breakout. So maybe I'll do that. So I don't know.
Does Tiger make the cut?
Yes, he's gonna make the cut. Not much more, but I think he's gonna make the cut.
I'm gonna say no. I'm gonna be Dr. No here.
What a killjoy.
I know. Well, hey, someone's got to do it, right? And it's usually, you're usually considered to be the dour one of the group. So I'll take that away from you this time. Let me shoulder that burden for you.
I really hope he makes it. From people that have seen him play, it sounds like he's hitting the ball better than he was at the Masters. I just think it's fun when he's playing on the weekend. But I'm kind of with Jeff. I think that Jeff Ritter. I think that he makes the cut, but probably not much more than that.
Does Phil ever play on the PGA Tour again?
Oh, sure. No. Forever's a long time. He'll play on the PGA Tour at some point.
Apparently, I didn't see the press conference yet, but I saw some. Apparently, Tiger was not especially supportive of Phil when they asked him about him.
No, he was not. No, he said he was disappointed, and they differ on that view. It was kind of it said he's not reached out to Phil either, which I was a little surprised.
I don't think they're especially close, and they ever have been. So
it felt like Tiger was like, I'm here for the golf and the competition and the history and winning tournaments, whereas Phil's about the money, and it was he did. I was a little surprised by how open he was talking about him.
I felt like Tiger and Phil were getting closer as the years went along, but it seemed a little icy today. So.
Well, I mean, Phil they had that challenge thing, the match, and then like Phil was going at Tiger a little on Twitter about the whole like social media award thing and all that, and I don't know. I think he's just turned off by the way Phil's acting. I don't know, and who knows what their interpersonal interactions are. That could be just enough that it spoiled the relationship. I don't know.
I think Phil plays majors at some point though.
I hope so. Yeah. I hope so. I think there's a non-zero chance he doesn't come back.
I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
Down zero. I think he's coming. I think he's going to play in London. I think that's where this is heading. But
yeah, well, that's not coming back. That's playing the Live Tour.
That's that's true. That's where I think we're going to see him.
We're going to see him at Pumpkin Ridge, and you cross that Rubicon, and he may not be allowed back. I mean, maybe he'll play at the British Open or something. But even them, they might be the Russian judge too. They might just say, I don't know, not coming back if he does that.
A lot has happened since he freaking won this tournament last year.
Sure has.
Yeah,
sure has. On that happy note,
wait! Your one and done pick. You didn't make the one and done pick. Got to have it for the article. Everybody's got to go on.
Got to have a pick. Okay, Morikawa, and I reserve the right to change. All right.
That'll be noted.
All right. Fellow left-hander scribbling that down. I like it there.
Friggin' major weeks are the best. I can't wait.
I know. Should be fun. Should be a lot of fun. All right, that's going to wrap up Gaming Golf. As always, guys, please smash that like button especially if you're watching on YouTube. But even if you, and please also though subscribe. Give us feedback. Tell us what you want to hear more of, what you want to hear less of. Unless it's like less me, and that's, well, actually even that too. You can do that because that's fine. These guys are the experts. I'm just here to direct traffic. So appreciate y'all, and we'll be back next week. Good luck with your lineups here for the PGA.